one of the priorities of the governments that are taking office is female empowerment. My institution over here wrote a report on this. यहाँ औरतों की जो situation है बड़ी खराब है, and unless that is improved, our rate of growth of population will not come down. Bangladesh has given a very good example that if you have women employment, that affects the rate of fertility. इस वक्त Pakistan's population is 240 million. Bangladesh's population is 170 million. At the time Pakistan was born, when Bangladesh was a part of Pakistan, Bangladesh had more people than we had. So their situation has improved because women are employed in making of garments. And garment industry is very big in Bangladesh, and it has given independence to women. They can decide what kind of partners they want, how many children they want, and so on. वो हमारे यहाँ अभी ये चीज नहीं आई. So that has to be a top priority. So better management of the fiscal system, empowerment of women, and then training of the youth of Pakistan in performing basic services that are in demand outside the country. And here I'm referring to information technology activities. I'm sure you know this. Pakistan has one of the youngest populations in the world.
Yes.
हमारी जो median age है, median age is the age below which 50% of the population is, and the remaining 50% is above that age. Pakistan has one of the lowest median ages in the world, 20.4 years, which means that 120 million people are below the age of 20.4. इन बच्चों को, लड़कियों को, लड़कों को, we must give them proper education and give them training so that they can begin to participate in modern technology, not only for use in the country, but also for export. So these are some of the priorities that I would push on the new people who are coming to power.
Sir, thank you for a very elaborate answer. And this sounds like very exciting work that you're beginning to do. My idea for this interview is that, you've done very extensive work on Pakistan's economies, perhaps in the last 5 decades. And for the younger generations who've not read a lot of work that you've done, and I know that you say this, that, the younger generation that you talk about doesn't have a habit of reading. So my idea for this interview is to sort of take your ideas that you've been espousing in a lot of work that you've done over the past many years, especially to the younger generation. So I'll just ask a few pointed questions about Pakistan's economy. Sir, you just talked about taxes. One of the major issues that the Ministry of Finance is facing right now is that, the debt servicing payments are so high, and Pakistan has been breaching something called the Fiscal Debt Limitations Act, which said that public debt should not be more than 60% of the GDP. And it's now ranging around 80% of the GDP, or even perhaps more. The big problem that Ministry of Finance now faces in terms of the fiscal system is that the taxes that we collect, and it's of course meager taxes that the government collects, are just spent on servicing the debt. And then the entire development and non-development expenditure has to then be financed through more debt. And that's the problem that all governments that would come in the future would eventually face. Do you think that there is like an ultimate solution to this, and or we would perhaps just be caught in this vicious cycle of debt forever?
I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, next 3 years, I was just looking at data today, sir. Pakistan has to service 74, um, just in the next 3 months, I think 24 uh, $1 million of debt payments. We have to 24 billion Pakistani rupees of payments we have to make, and in the next 3 years, we're making 74 billion rupees of payments just to IMF. And
Dekho,
and
my view is that proper economic management, and it should begin with uh, a major change in the fiscal system and make people take the tax system seriously and not avoid जिस तरह ये दुकान वाला मुझे कह रहा था कि कोई नहीं पे करता. So uh, it is quite reasonable to expect that within about 4 to 5 years, Pakistan can achieve a sustainable rate of growth of 6 to 7% a year, which would bring it to the level that East Asian miracle economies achieved over a very long period of time. But that would mean, are you familiar with Harrod-Domar model?
yes, sir. Yes, yes.
Harrod-Domar uh, is a
Grow.
very simple model. You divide the rate of investment by something called ICOR, incremental capital output ratio.
Yes, yes,
मेरा ख्याल है कि पाकिस्तान का incremental capital output ratio is around 4. So to achieve a 6% rate of growth, multiply 6 by 4, you need an investment rate of about 24% of GDP. Is वक्त investment rate is around half of that. So that has to be increased. And the only way it can be increased is to give uh, people absolutely no choice but to pay taxes and increase the revenues of the government. And second is get people to spend money on things that would improve their own situation and that of the economy.